Alright, just got done watching the presidential debate. That was one of the most excruciating things I've ever done in my life. Both just have no idea what the Constitution says. Let me just go ahead and preface this by saying this is going to be a lot of Hillary bashing because she is by far the worst case scenario for this country. I don't like Trump. I don't support Trump. But it is overwhelming how much she is a lying psychopath. I mean, everything that has come out about her from all the WikiLeaks emails, and she keeps blaming Russia. What does that have to do? I mean, if you catch someone murdering someone and then they start blaming somebody else, no, you're the murderer. We just caught you red-handed. So I don't understand that. And then after the debate, it was all just bashing Trump left and right. So I guess they've already picked who they want for the president, and it's not Trump. Like I said, I don't like Trump. He's horrible in foreign policy. He keeps saying all these things about Iran. Iran is surrounded by American bases. I don't think they're trying to get a nuclear weapon. I think that's a joke, but I would be trying to get a nuclear weapon because if they get a nuclear weapon, nobody's going to fuck with them. All these countries in the Middle East have been invaded and taken over. Syria and Iran are the last two. Syria's going to fall eventually, and Iran will be next. So then it keeps. This is very frustrating. So I took some notes here. You had Lester Holt. Was there, Chuck Todd, Tom Brokaw, I guess they brought out of retirement, Andrea Mitchell, who did a lot of bashing on Ron Paul during his time he ran for president. Yeah, I noticed Hillary kept looking down, kind of like she was reading a teleprompter. Probably not, maybe she was taking some notes, I don't know. All right, let's start off with Supreme Court. Hillary says she's not on the side of the corporations and the wealthy. Hillary, you're a multi-millionaire and you get paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by corporations. I don't think you're going to be stopping them. Hillary says she supports the LBGT community. Until, I think 2 or 3 years ago, she was against gay marriage. So I don't really think she gave a shit about that. Citizens United, I just don't believe that that's the reason for the crash. I think that's kind of a joke. All right, she's going to stand up to the powerful. Yeah, she is the powerful. She is the selected. Constitution, she can't mention the Constitution. If you're a leftist, what she is, well, she's really not, I wouldn't say left, she's just a globalist. She doesn't really care about any political ideology, but the Constitution is something she could give a fuck less about. Trump, okay, let's go to him. Okay, we're talking about the Supreme Court. He's got 20 nominees that he's looking at. Well, the best one would have been Judge Napolitano. I don't think that's on his list. And yeah, one thing I noticed also, they're both just pandering to the left and right. I mean, Hillary could give a shit less about the left. All she cares about is power. Psychopaths, they're not addicted to drugs, they're not addicted to alcohol. It's power. They crave power. So, and same thing with Trump. He's just pandering to the right. He's team blue, she's team red, or I got those colors backwards, but it doesn't matter. They're just pandering to get votes. Okay, now we're on gun control. Okay, yeah, they're talking about the gun deaths, the gun show loophole, that's already been debunked. Tyler's killed, that's a personal responsibility of the gun owner, not the federal government to tell them what to do. Okay, yeah, Trump, he's got the support of the NRA. The NRA, yeah, they do some good things, but they compromise, and my rights are not up for compromise. And also, the NRA has a long history of supporting Republicans, which are the scum of the earth, just like the Democrats are. Abortion. Has he always been pro-life? I think I've read somewhere that he wasn't pro-life. I think he was pro-choice back in the day. I could be wrong. Let me know. And yes, and Hillary is, she is pro-life. I'm not really getting on that subject, but if you believe in partial birth abortions, that a fetus at 8 or 9 months should be able to pulled out and killed, that is fucking disgusting. Another reason Hillary is a psychopath. Okay, yeah, all right. It's immigration. Trump's talking about heroin coming over the border. He didn't say anything about Afghanistan. The reason the U.S. is in Afghanistan, it was to take over the heroin trade. Heroin has, I think, went up 500%. It's the leading country to export illegal heroin all over the country, and I think the epidemic has went up in the United States. So he's talking about bringing over the border, which the CIA and the government is pretty much behind that. 89% of all drugs coming to this country is CIA. So he didn't bring that up, and he didn't bring up Afghanistan. That's where the drugs are coming from. That's where the heroin is coming from. We're a nation of immigrants. It's funny how they like to change the definitions. I'm pretty sure if we look up in the Webster's dictionary of immigrant, it's going to say someone who was born somewhere. I think me and most of other people who've been here, except for people who maybe come here in the last 100 years, have been here for 200 or 300 years. I was born here. I'm not a fucking immigrant. I was born here. Yeah, and I noticed one time, like, Wallace interrupted Trump when he was talking about something. I don't know. Maybe I'm being paranoid about that. Another note I took: Hillary is such a fucking liar. She just lies left and right. It's disgusting. Yeah. So they both are talking about nuclear war with Russia. Not so much Trump. He wants to talk to Putin, but that's great. But Hillary is talking about, like, who is most qualified to have their hand on the nuclear codes to start a nuclear war. Hillary's definitely not. Nobody in the world is qualified for that position. Nobody. You're gonna give a code to start a nuclear war with someone. Why is that even being brought up? But the psychopath Hillary Clinton, you're going to have that. Economy. Raise the minimum wage. If raising the minimum wage is a good idea, why don't we just raise it to $300 an hour if that's just going to help everybody? When you raise the minimum wage, if an employer cannot pay someone, what about the people who are homeless? What about somebody who's trying to get a job and can't find a job, but the guy who would love to hire him for maybe $8 or $10 an hour can't do it because the government has raised the minimum wage? I don't get that. That makes no sense. Hillary says she's gonna create 10 million new jobs. How does the president do that? There's 7 things, I think, that are listed in the Constitution that the president can do. Mainly, he's just the commander-in-chief of the armed forces during time of war. He can appoint Supreme Court justices, and he can veto laws. He can't write laws. That's for the Congress. And you've probably heard of the executive order. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says a president can write an executive order. That was something that was made up by President Lincoln during the Civil War. That is illegal. You cannot do that. Well, they all do it, but it's nowhere written in the Constitution, which they're taking an oath to protect and defend. When the economy, Trump's talking about how he's going to improve the economy. He just sounds like every other politician, especially the right-wingers. We're going to cut taxes. We're going to create jobs. Blah, 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 blah. You want to create jobs, the government, get the fuck out of the way. Get the fuck out of the way, and the private sector will create jobs. Government doesn't create jobs, the private sector does. I think when she was Secretary of State. Probably true. I would also question I think $2 or $3 trillion that was missing. That Donald Rumsfeld had a press conference the day before 9/11 and said we don't know what happened to $3 trillion. I could be wrong, $2 trillion, however many $1 trillion. Yeah, so the Pentagon, they lose millions of dollars all the time, trillions of dollars. So that happens all the time. Then Hillary went on this big thing, what she was doing in the 70s. Yeah, she was getting child rapists off. I guess you all know about the guy who raped the 13-year-old. She got him off, and then she bragged about it. It's on tape. That's what Hillary was doing during the 70s. She was getting child rapists off. And then she started going after all the people that Bill raped and threatening them. I'm sure you all know that Bill is a serial rapist. One of the things that he liked to do before he raped someone was he would start trying to kiss on them, then he would bite their lip to where they would start bleeding, and then they would go into shock, and then he would rape them. Then Hillary, they would start talking, right, and then Hillary would come, and then she would threaten them. And while I'm discussing this, the best book on the subject, Hillary and Bill, The Sex Volume. This goes into, written by Victor Thorne, one of my favorite authors. This goes into all the sexual predator that Bill did. I mean, he started out in Arkansas, and then he went straight to the White House, and it is so many women that he's either raped or sexually harassed. So, and Hillary, she covered it up. She's pretty much Bill's handler. Yeah, sexual abuse. It's funny. Yeah, they went after they go after Trump about things he said. He said about grabbing some woman's pussy, or he says bad things about women, but they don't say anything about Hillary because she covered it up. And if she gets elected president, Bill's going to be back in the White House. So once again, the media is always on Trump about things he said. I don't like Trump. I think he's a pig. But I think there's some accusations about maybe he's raped somebody, but it is nowhere near what Bill has done. And that is seriously just calling the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, it's horrible. And then she goes into the Mr. Khan. I think the Muslim who talked during the Democratic convention about his son dying, and he was blaming Trump or some shit. He was talking trash about Trump. Well, it was Hillary that voted for the Iraqi war. His son would be alive right now if Hillary didn't vote for the fucking war, which we should have never been there in the first place. So, once again, it's so hypocritical. But that's what politicians do. They always lie. They will never admit, and they will just keep lying and lying and lying. And the Clintons are the best at it. Hillary, she's okay. Bill is the best. You see Bill talking during a press conference, you want to like the guy. He's that good. You have to kind of smack yourself in the face and it's like, whoa, hold on. The guy's a fucking liar. But yeah, that's what politicians do. The Clinton Foundations, I think most people know that it's a big racket. If you make a donation to the Clinton campaign or the Clinton Foundation, and then you can pretty much get what kind of contract you want or bill passed through the Congress. If Hillary is so pro women, I think Trump was right. Saudi Arabia are horrible. They have a horrible human rights record. They behead people. They kill gays. And oh my God, all the horrific things they do to women. And those are her friends. And I give props to there's actually my notes here. I give props to Trump because he did say something bad about Saudi Arabia, which nobody ever does in the media. None of the politicians ever say shit about Saudi Arabia or Israel. So I give Trump props for that. I could give shit less about Trump's tax returns. I don't care. Taxation is theft. It's extortion. If he can find a way not to have to pay that fucking shit, good for him. Awesome. Now, if the rest of the 280 million people in this country can figure out how to do that, that'd be good. free and fair elections. Yeah, that was one thing at the end of the debate. During at the end, Trump said that he didn't believe they were fair. Fuck no, they're not fair. I mean, all the media, all the propaganda, they pick their candidate. Just like Bush. Bush was their candidate. Obama, he got all this free press. Ron Paul had to fight for every minute he could get on TV. But Obama, it was left and right. You knew he was the selected candidate. Same thing with Hillary. She is the selected candidate. So if he doesn't believe in the voting process, why is that bad? I mean, we have voting machines and there's no receipt. There's no paper trail. And we're supposed to just believe that they're going to be fair. And then once again, it doesn't matter anyway because the Electoral College, they're the ones who pick the president, not us, not the people. So you can go vote all you want. It doesn't even matter. It's a joke. Middle East, they started talking about ISIS. ISIS is the creation of the CIA and the Israeli Mossad. Same thing with Al-Qaeda. It wasn't there before. Hillary says she will not send troops to Iraq. Bullshit. She'll do whatever the military-industrial complex or the international bankers tell her to do. And then blaming the Russians and Iran. Russia has been trying to stop the military of Syria. They're over there trying to actually help. Now, saying Putin is a perfect human being, but it is the U.S. that is there that should not be anywhere in the fucking world except America and or the surrounding oceans. Trump, yeah, he gets a big F here. He goes into Iran wanting nukes. Once again, I'll go into that. I mean, Iran is surrounded by American bases, and the American government has taken out almost every country in the region. They know they're next. I don't think they're trying to get a nuclear weapon. They can't get a nuclear weapon, but if I would be wanting a nuclear weapon if I was Iran. Because once again, if you get a nuclear weapon, nobody's going to fuck with you. So, yeah, he got a big F there, and then he says that we gave we gave Iran to Iraq. I don't know, man. Who cares, you know? I just know that the U.S. should not be in the Middle East. Oh, yeah. Once again, the pot calling the kettle black. Hillary goes off on Trump about he's saying that he was for the Iraqi war. I don't think he was. I think that's already been proven that he wasn't. But what if he was? She voted for it, though. She voted while she was a senator to invade Iraq. And let's go ahead and go over, since she was calling Trump out for saying he was for the Iraqi war. She was for the original invasion of Iraq. She was for the sanctions on Iraq that her president signed. That what happened was that Iraq couldn't get all the medical supplies into their country. And I think it was over 600,000 to 800,000 children died because of that. I think it was Madeleine Albright who said that it was worth it. It was worth all these hundreds of thousands of children dying. And Clinton supported that. She supported the bombing of Bosnia, Herzegovina, and pretty much every war I can think of in the Middle East. She supported the Iraqi war, obviously. She supports going into Syria. Obviously, she supported Libya. She was behind that. And then, obviously, I'm sure you've all seen the video where they asked her what she thought about the Libya invasion. We came, we saw, he died. Talking about Omar Gaddafi. He got raped and then brutally massacred in the streets. And she thought she was laughing about it. That's pretty fucking disgusting. And she wants to talk about Trump maybe saying he was for the Iraqi war, and I speechless. Alright, where else do we have here? Yeah, Aleppo. Trump gets an F again. Assad is a bad guy? No. The U.S. federal government is the bad fucking people, because we're over there supporting Al-Qaeda, supporting ISIS, and bombing the shit out of his fucking country, killing people. And now you've got an immigration problem. The people of the Middle East, mainly Syrians, Iraqis, are invading Europe. No, Assad, nothing compared to what the U.S. has done. bombing Iraq. I think there's over that area is radioactive for 1 billion years. Children are born with birth defects over there right now. So, once again, Assad is a bad guy. Yeah, that's a joke. Yeah, and Hillary's smiling the whole time. God. Yeah, and then my notes I wrote down, why just don't we leave the Middle East? It's none of our business. All you're doing is radicalizing the people, and what happens when they get radicalized? They turn to terrorism. If America was invaded and they were bombing us, I promise you I'd be a fucking terrorist and I'd be radicalized. Yeah, Hillary says she was moved by the 4-year-old Syrian kid that was in shock. I doubt that very serious. I don't think psychopaths have the ability to feel. They don't, psychopaths, they don't have empathy. They mimic it. They watch how other people show signs of empathy and they mimic that. That's what Hillary does. And I don't think she really does a good job of it. And Trump, Trump said that the Russians, during the ceasefire, they're the one that started bombing. No, there was a ceasefire, and then the U.S. bombed the Syrian army and killed people, and then the Russians were like, fuck this is bullshit, so they stopped. So, once again, it was the American government that stopped. There was a ceasefire, and they blew it. To Trump, once again, I don't understand people who like something's going to change with him. I mean, trust me, Hillary is by far the worst case scenario, but still, Trump is horrible on foreign policy. Horrible. Nothing will change under Trump with that. I don't think anything's going to change. I think he's just full of shit. He's just talking about all these things he's going to do, and he's not going to do it. He's going to do exactly what the military-industrial complex, the secret government, the international bankers, he's going to do what they tell him to do. The national debt, Trump talked about how he's going to keep creating jobs. Once again, I think I already went over that. The government doesn't create jobs, the private sector does. Entitlements. Trump, right-winger, Republican, says that we need to repeal Obamacare and replace it. Why do we need to replace it with anything? Why can't we just let the free market take care of that? I don't understand. Yeah, once again, he's just a statist. So if I was a right-wing Republican voting for Trump, I would be like, because, they don't like Obamacare, neither do I, but I don't understand why would they be voting for him. And then Clinton also said again that she'll fight the corporations and the elite. Wow. Okay. Chris Wallace. He kept giving Trump. I think I went over a couple times. Kept giving Trump flack about saying that he wouldn't concede the election, or he thought that maybe the election was rigged. Once again, it doesn't matter because it's the Electoral College. Something else I noticed. There was a conspiracy theory by Clinton about the first debate about her getting the questions in advance, and which very well may be true because she is a liar. She is as crooked as they come. I'm not defending her. But one of the things they showed in the video was right after the debate, a guy comes up and picks up her papers and walks away. So they're saying that he was destroying the evidence, right? Well, someone did the exact same thing with the Trump podium. They walk up after he leaves, grabs his papers, and walks away. So maybe he had foreknowledge of the questions too. I don't know. This is something I noticed. And then after the debate, like I said, Chuck Todd, Savannah, it was all Hillary. Trump did a bad job, which, he did. I guess he did a pretty good job in Hillary. They both suck, but Hillary is by far the worst case scenario. But it was all bashing Trump, every one of them. For a second there, Tom Brokaw was given he was giving Trump, a few props, and then bam, bad. So what I did was I graded each one, and it was all Hillary. Every one of them was giving props to Hillary. The most, I don't know if there's ever been a more corrupt politician running for office in the history of this country. All the things that at WikiLeaks, and there are so many things about this woman that is pure evil, pure corruption. But the mainstream media, I guess they don't have any problem with that. So, but anyway, my first debate analysis, I thought I'd go ahead and knock it out while everything's still fresh. If you want to learn any more about the Clintons, Hillary and Bill, the 6th volume, and he's actually got 2 other books written about the Clintons. But yeah, Trump's not the guy either. He'll be horrible on war. More people will continue to die, and troops going overseas and killing people doesn't make us any safer. They're not heroes for doing that.